Oh, pins.
Okay.
Are we on?
You're on YouTube. We can see you on YouTube.
We're back. So apologies for that. I'm just going to keep apologising until I know that we are completely back. And what a fag. What an absolute nightmare. We're overloading our system, it would appear.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
Right. So I can't quite see myself on here, but I'm sure it's going to come back any second. I shall just stand here and look glamorous in front of the camera till I can see that you're back. It says that I'm now live. So can I see? I can see me pulling faces. See me pulling faces and looking all thingy. Yes, we're back. So this is part of our like initiation into the world of streaming. Everything needs to be bigger and better and faster and whoopier and all the rest of it. And we're getting there. But if you can work with us, we'll happily work with you. So yes, we are back. Tech. I'll just leave that to Tech. Let's park that there. We're back. Everyone's coming back in the room. So I'll just burble for a minute, and when I see those numbers have got to kind of somewhere where we expect, I will start. So while I'm burbling, I do have, talking of remnants, scraps, or whatever you want to call them, I've got a box of stuff that's unsorted, but I did have a look in, and there are some long raggy strips. Now, some of them are brights, but a lot of them are quite muteds. So if you're interested, we were doing these at £17.99 on the telly. If you want one, they're £15. So these are quite muted. There is a couple of brighter ones in there. I don't know. I think most of you will be getting these muteds. I'll mix them up a bit. So like, I've just got these straight out the box, and there's like chunks of sameness. So I'll zhuzh them up a bit. And so if you want one of those, the long raggies are going to be 15 quid if anybody wants one of those. And what we'll do, I will take names in order, and then I'll just make an order, and everyone who kind of gets their name down will just work down the list. So they are 15 quid if you want a long raggy. Lynn, is it possible to add a pattern to my order?
Just text her asking her what she wants.
Right. Right, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Do that. Just let us know what you want. Or private message me if you want to have a little shufty on the website first. Jane Ruffle, evening, sorry I'm late. It would appear you're on time. We went and came back again. Fiona Anderson would like some long raggies. Sharon Percy. So, where are we? Long raggies.
Here we go. Sorry.
So we've got Fiona Anderson, Sharon Percy, Rosemary Hodges. Just put Rosemary, we'll know who we mean. Yeah, we've put 50p me to Fiona. Wynne would like a long raggy, as would Wendy Conway. Have you got everyone there?
Who was the one before Wendy? I missed that.
Let me go down the list from the start. Who was the first one I read you? Fiona Anderson. Lynn, I'm just coming back to you. Sharon Percy. Rosemary. Wynne, you've got.
Yep.
Wendy Conway, you've got. Okay, and then can you put on there, Lynn Atwell would like one if it's a bright one. So I'll see what I've got bright and confirm whether I can do that, because I just had the briefest look, and if there's just like one bright piece of fabric, that's kind of not what you want. So I'll put that together. So anyone who's just joining us, what I was saying as we were getting going again is so I used to do these at £17.99 on the telly. If you want one, they're 15 quid tonight. I've just looked in, I've got a box that's undealt with, so I'm literally taking your names in order, and I'll make until there's no more left. So it's long raggies. Janet Earl, there I was telling myself I wasn't going to buy anything. I would like the group of patterns with the block keepers. Right, Lynn, can you put on Lynn's private message? Just tell me to private message it, and I'll get off you exactly what you want that way, Lynn. It's probably better. Hi, Margaret. So the long raggies, I've just grabbed these out of the box. They're mainly quite muted. I did see some brighter stuff, but let's just go with the muteds for now. I will, have a mush about so that you're not getting everything the same. You will get a couple of swapsies, but they are nice and muted, and there's peachy stuff, there's kind of duck eggy stuff, there's greeny stuff, there's all kinds of stuff in there, stony coloured stuff. They're just lovely. And they're quite nice ones of those. So that's the raggies. Janet, all I was doing there was saying I've got some long raggies. Instead of £17.99, which they were on Create and Craft, they're 15 quid if you're buying direct from me. If you want one, join the list, and I'm just going to make them up and see how far we get. So they are quite muted, and we'll go from there. So that's those shown. Reet, now then, Reet. I'm going to, in a sec, I'm going to get a downhill camera, because I've got two other things to show you as well, and then I'm going to make something you might be surprised to hear. So could we have a downhill camera, please, Sarah? She'll tell me. Is it coming? Woo-hoo. There we go. So Raggy Gold Dust, one of your long-standing favourites. So you get a bag that we just stuff full of the small bits. So I've got the raggy. They're all much of a muchness. So you get a good old heap there. There's all sorts in here. You get a few dual colours. You get some like neutrals. There's all sorts in here. This is just an incredible stash of fabric. Now this is the stuff that I've used to do the raggy wreaths, the rings. You don't have to do that. I did actually use the long raggy to do the Abbey bag, which we looked at earlier, but you could use this, and I'm going to have a go at making some stuff in a minute. I'll just push that to one side.
How much are they?
Tenner a bag. Now then, there is postage on these. Let's just think about this. Postage will be £4. Everything's been sent. Tracked 48 without signature through Royal Mail. So tracked 48, that's up to 2 kilos, is 4 quid. Now, as you know, when you look at your bills, if you've only got something slim, I do drop that down to 3 quid because I can send it as a large letter. But just work on the theory that it's 4 quid. Right, so that's the Raggy Gold Dust, £10 a bag. And this is the tartan, and it's also £10 a bag, which I think is a completely different price to the Create and Craft price, but let's just do it that way.
What's this called?
Tartan. So let's have a look. We have got Janet, you haven't missed out yet. Jill Walters wanted a long. Did you put her on for a long raggy? Jill Walters on long raggy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you did. I'll come back to you in a sec. Janet Webb says yes please, but I'm not sure what you're saying yes please to, so could you...
I'm assuming it's a Raggy Gold Dust.
Okay, Raggy Gold Dust, Janet. Wendy, fatty bag please. Is that Raggy Gold Dust? And then Karen Foy would like... just get... hang on, whose name? I don't think
Fiona.
Fiona says yes, deliveries are excellent, but
Oh,
isn't
right.
asking for anything.
Sorry, reading it
So
wrong.
it's Karen Foy would like tartan. Jill Walters would like tartan. So the tartans, there's all kinds of different tartans. So this one is quite a fine, in fact this is the one we used in the Bonnie Prince Charlie kilt. The tartans, this is quite a lightweight one, and then you've got others that are more chunky. There's all sorts. It's mainly kind of reds, greens, and then these more earthies. It can be anything though, and there is no there's no guarantee of kind of will you get a bag that's heavier in the green or the red or whatever. You get what you get is what it is. There's just all sorts. You've black watch there, then you've kind of black watch with a red bit in, which has probably got a completely different name. There's something a bit more duck eggy there, but like them two go together and all the rest. So that stuff's great, and we made so that's the kind of thing, let me turn it the right way around, that's the kind of thing that we did with it. I did some Christmas cushions and I put tartan borders on as well, so it was like not tartan in the middle, but tartan borders, which was really quite nice. So I've just put as well, just plain cotton on the back there, makes your scraps go further. So I'm going to shove all that tartan over there for now, and we're going to have a little go, bring the sewing machine in. We've only got 2 cameras, which is face on and straight down here. So we've got what we've got to work with. But I'm going to have a go at doing the log cabin as shown on the Abbey bag. And then, depending how long I'm faffing around for, I'm going to show you some foundation paper piecing for those who are into their foundation paper piecing and throwing it through the window. So I'm just, by rack of eye, just going to cut a square, and that'll be my centre. Now traditionally a log cabin was red in the middle, and it symbolised the heart of the home. So I've just started out with a square, not a very straight square I might add, but that's the beauty of the raggy gold dust. Everything is just make it up as you go along. Now I'm just going to go straight into my pile and just grab the next one. Put your little one on top and then just stitch. Now if you were doing, let's say 6 log cabins at once, in fact I'm going to do that, well, maybe not 6, but I'm going to just I'm just going to start out with 3. We might ditch one off shortly, but we'll start out with 3. So if I'm going to do 3 at once, this is chain piecing. So I will put my 3 squares on there to begin with, and then, hang on, 1/4 inch seam. When I'm using wool, I do like a slightly longer stitch length. I'll use a 3 in the main. So I don't know whether you can see what I'm doing from the overhead. I don't think you can, but I'm going to talk as I'm doing and then you'll see as it comes out. So the first one I'm stitching on, and then swap to the second one, which is fairly close. Don't want to waste too much fabric, but I do need space to get my scissors in, and then go straight onto the third, and I'm going to show you now. So I've stitched those 3 on. It's a 1/4 inch seam there, so that's stitched on, and then I'm going to liberate these by just cutting. This is a scrappy thing, so I'm not that worried if I'm not perfect. So my friend Janet, who does the liberated piecing, she just says for this part you just go for it, and then once you've got your square, then you follow the principles of patchwork as we know, and piece it together that way. So let's have a darker one for this. So I'm going to put these straight on. I might ditch the third one if it doesn't fit on here, because I don't want to be yeah, I'm going to ditch the third one now, so we'll just go with 2 on here, because the idea of showing you 3 there was just to kind of show you chain piecing, but I know you're going to get the idea quite quickly. In fact, I'm going to give myself a bigger stitch length, not because it's what I would do, but because it will zip down it quicker and not bore you to tears while you're waiting for me to stitch it on. So I'm just pulling it, getting the tension as I go with my fingers. So here we are. So I'm just using the raggy gold dust. I'm not worried about being precise at all. I'm not even, you know, like I'm not squaring anything up. I'm not checking that it's even. So I did 1, 2, 3. It's this one first. So I'm working my way around in a spiral. Let's go for this kind of mushy green one. So let's put that on there now. Now this time my seam allowance is facing the wrong way. You're not going to be lucky all the time and have it facing downhill. So we'll just put that on there and then get the next one. Remember which way round we are. Put it on and then go down. Now with your remnants, you're going to have some fat ones and some thin ones. So some are going to show more than others. You know, like if you've got, like that's really thin, I probably wouldn't use something that thin in a log cabin, because you're going to lose 1/4 inch off each side. You'll just get the tiniest little flash in the middle. Let's measure that. That is, it's just over 3/4 of an inch. So you would get a 1/4 inch of a flash on there. So it's up to you whether you want to use it or not. Probably I'd just keep that for a different job. So again, just trimming it down. Quilt police at this point would be having heart attacks on the floor. Are we bothered? No, not in the slightest. So you can see this log cabin is growing really quickly. Let's put another one on. Just go completely different. I don't know whether I'll fit 2 on. So I've got my second here because I've been doing the chain piecing. But I might just abandon that one now and go for 1, because only one's going to fit. So if you were doing this for a bag, our bag, every single log cabin is different, but because we did the same red square on them all, it does look like they've got something in common. In fact, I'll just grab that bag. So there you see, you've got the same red square in the centre, and then we finished it off with, so this was a 1/2 metre piece that I had. Same red at the top, covered button and the flap there. And that just brings it all together. So as you look at this, you've got, your eye cannot see. You can't see, you really can't, you can't see much except that it's gorgeous. And it's got this in here. Now I'm just going to have a look back at the comments. Sarah, have you been pulling off everybody who's wanted stuff?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so where have you got up to? What name? This is testing the metal.
Wendy
So-
Conway was the last one
Right,
on tartan.
okay then. Yep, right, okay. So Pat says, do not top stitch as you go. Right, let me just switch back to one of the others. No, I'm not doing on this because I'm going to put it on wadding. I mean, I did build that on wadding, but the wadding I'm going to quilt through. So you can top stitch if you want, but I'm not doing on this particular project. And also as well, while I'm doing this kind of demo, if I started top stitching, it would take twice as long. But no, I'm not doing. It's just, to me, that looks gorgeous, just as we've got to this bit. Now I've forgotten which way I'm going. And that's one of the beauties of this. If you forget which way you're going and you go the other way, it doesn't matter. You can get away with anything and everything. So let's shove that on there. Shove that on there. There must be an artist that talks about shoving and slapping and splashing stuff. Maybe it just means I'm a good artist when I'm wazzing stuff everywhere. So just go on and very, very quickly. Now I think if I go around that one more time, I'm going to have something that is big enough to call a block. So yes, top stitching if you want to, but this is going to be secured onto the lining, onto the wadding, give it a really good quilt through all the layers, and that is going to do the same job as top stitching. once you're quilting. So you can quilt as much as you want, and I'm tempted to go diagonally across, and then I've hit as many of the lines at the same time all in one go. Let's go for that one because it's a bit chunkier. Put this one on. I'm just going to do 2 more, and then you will see the block. It is like the easiest block. So this is where Raggy Gold Dust takes you from leftovers just like this. I wish I could get away with everything. You can, Janet, I do. You know, so what you're building here, this is £100 a metre fabric, okay? And so I've gone from something that somebody else might put in the bin to recreating a beautiful piece of fabric that, you know, if we printed this, I mean, look at that one there, all squares. And I've just recreated that by piecing what essentially is leftovers and waste together, and we're getting something quite beautiful. And I just think somebody could print a piece of fabric with that design on, and you go, oh my God, it's horrible. But when you've patched it, all of a sudden it takes on its own personality and its own life. I'll tell you what, Jill, you're a waistcoat maker. Have you seen Alan Titchmarsh on a Sunday morning on the telly? He often wears a tweed waistcoat. Now, couldn't you make a tweed waistcoat out of these? You know, just do a panel down the front or something like that. And it's taken something that's quite, I'm going to use the word boring, but that's probably an unfair description, and really giving it life and personality and the whole 9 yards. I'm going to call that a do because that's very roughly, well, it's not very roughly square, but let's call it a square. Let's call it a square between friends. So you're just going to, you know, put this together. I mean, you can put pink on there, you can put whatever colour you want on there, and you've just livened it up. Every single bag of this is different. I'm not guaranteeing what you're going to get. Say it's all much of a muchness. And there we go. I do have a few more bits in the new box that aren't sorted, so if anybody wants anything, and I'll just make. So right, let me put those over there. And the what I did with the tartan, I'm going to draw this one just for speed. Let me get my paper under here. The tartan. I joined some rows together. Some of the pieces I had weren't long enough to make a row, so the rows might have been like this. And then with my trusty scissors, I cut the fabric, cut it into quarters, and then
Jessica just wants to know how much was the gold dust.
The gold dust was £10 a bag. So I've got my quarters, I've cut them up, and then if you just turn, obviously you'd have measured yours, a 1/4 inch, you're going to have, they go that way, vertical, horizontal, vertical, and you've got something that looks really nice. Look, where's the cushion? There you go. So all it is, it's sewing them across straight, cut into a 1/4 and piece them. And as I've done them, and I said, you know, some of the lines weren't full lines, you can see that. So I'm looking at this and thinking, oh, did you really cut that into quarters? Because I can't see where it matches, but I've joined. So this one here, I can see is this one up here, and it's just how it's gone. It just looks tremendous. And then old Jock in the corner, doesn't that make it a Scottish composition complete? Right then, I told, which one of you was doing foundation paper piecing? Let's have a go at foundation paper piecing. So if anyone's never done this before, it's easy. Well, it is if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you want to chuck it out the window, but then you already know that. So I've just picked these up off the shelf. What you need to start with, now first thing to note, foundation paper piecing is greedy on your fabric. You will use extra fabric, but what you will get is perfect points and perfect joins. So I've got, now I just nicked this from another design. So I've got let me lift this up. In fact, I'm going to, where are we? Yeah, here we are. So it's labelled here is this one from whichever project this was. All the pieces have got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and so on. That's the order that you're going to piece. They've also got on here fabric A and fabric C, because in this project that's what you use fabric A for, all those, and you use fabric C for the sides, and fabric B was somewhere else entirely. So that's our little key, and it really helps if you've got this information on here. Now that is going to remain visible all the time, and you're going to build the design underneath. So you can see what pattern this is from now. So that's the underneath that we're going to cover and that we're going to lose. So piece number 1, I'm doing a big fat old piece here, and I'm going to just put that on. And I've done foundation paper piecing for quite some time, so forgive me if I need a little moment just to refresh myself, because it is that kind of technique. And then for piece number 2, which is here, I want a piece that is big enough to cover. Now I am being quite generous because I'm hoping, as I say, I haven't done it for a long time and I want to get it right. So I've got that on there. I know that fits. That's way bigger than I need there. Now what I like to do is put a pin in the paper. Yeah, so that's my first seam line there between piece 1 and piece 2. So when I go over this side, I can see that I need to put, wait a minute, just refreshing myself, I need to put my fabric over the line. I might not even have cut this blue one the right shape. As I say, I haven't done this for quite some time. Let's go, right, let's go that way, pin it in, pin it on. You will end up with all kinds of different random shapes and stuff. So I'm going to sew on there, which will be through all layers, and then that one is going to open out. So on this side, I want to check that when it's opened out, this is before I've even sewn anything, when it's opened out, is it going to cover what's underneath? Is that going to cover that whole thing and leave a bit of a seam allowance? Now I think that looks tight. See there, that looks a bit tight. So I'm going to move. I've decided that the, in fact, I can probably keep that one there. The blue one's okay. Oops, where's my pin gone? There it is. But the red one needed adjusting. Once you get into the swing of this, as I've just said like several times, I haven't done this for a long time. Right, there we go. So now I've adjusted it and I can see that my red is coming all the way up here. Turn it over, I can see that I'm covering it. Now, you may be able to hold this up to the light and see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and sew on line 1. So I'm folding that back, that's flat there. Put it under the machine, and then I've lined up the line on the centre of my foot where there's the little gap. Take the pin out, oops, I'm on 1/4 inch still. Take the little pin out because I don't want to sew over the pin. I've gone with a longer stitch length just for speed on the demonstration. Now I'm sewing that line and I'm not sewing beyond that line. I'm not doing an extra 1/4 inch. Oops, cut my threads. Moment of truth. So I've stitched that, turn it over. That to me looks good. Okay, I'm fairly confident that I have covered, see I can fold that back on the next line there. I've more than covered what I needed to cover. So I can trim that back there, which is giving me my seam allowance for the next one. Now this is really important. Whilst I'm at this stage, I can trim that seam allowance down, because once you progress, you won't get in to cut that down, because once you've added the next piece over here, and particularly that piece, that's going to be locked in. So push that into position over there, and then for the time being put a pin in to hold that in its final position, and then go back to my fabric C, whichever one it was I'm using, and repeat. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to in fact, what I can do is fold the paper there, and before I go any further, trim that blue down. Trim that down. That's going to give me a bit extra working kind of knowledge. Roughly line that up there. Now I'm thinking I don't want to make a mistake, but then actually if I made a mistake, it shows you what not to do. So I'm like 50-50. Do I want to make one? Do I not? So I've got my pin in on the next sewing line there. I can open this red out now, and I can be fairly confident that that is going to cover my next piece, because as I fold back on that sewing line, I've gone over it. So I'm going to go ahead, fold that back so we're right sides together, put the needle in and sew down. So I'll do this one, and then I'll put the next blue piece on, and after that you'll be able to see it. And also you can look back on this video as well if you want to, and you'll be able to see it there too. So I've just sewn my next piece here. I'll hold it up for you, turn it over. Now that looks great, and I'm going to point out the benefits of foundation piecing. So you need to have you've got to get your head around it, there's no doubt about that. The first time I was shown how to do foundation piecing, I came home with my demonstration piece, and I didn't have a blinking clue, and I had to really good think, and I probably had to go back and be shown again. So I'm just cutting that off the side of the paper there. You'll notice as well there's an extra bit round the edge. That is my 1/4 inch seam, so you will need to make sure that you've got your 1/4 inch on there. But as I open that, that is looking like a pretty good point. So if I do one more blue one, and we pretty much can see where we're going now. So I've left those 2 pins in for the moment. I'm going to put a pin on my sewing line here, offer it to the machine. You can sew across your seam allowance if you want. You can leave it unsewn if you want. When you get to the point in the centre, that's where the thickness is. So particularly if you're using wool, if your machine is not the heaviest duty, I hand wind over really thick pieces. So now I can open that out. I'm going to cut that back. So for here, sorry, I know the camera's a little bit further away. When we get our new cameras, we should be able to zoom right in. So my next sewing line, or the top of this next part, is here. So I'm going to fold that down at this stage and cut that off. As I come back here, because I've now done this seam line here, I can remove those pins, they're no longer needed. Flip it over, push that back, and I'm going to pin that next blue piece. So shove the pin in there, place it gently. Right, there you go. Let's go this way around. So the purpose of foundation piecing is absolutely perfect points, and once you've worked your way all the way up there, you can come back with your rotary cutter. I'm just going to use my scissors for now, and you'll trim it off at the side, and that's going to give you your beautiful panel. So the points will be here, 1/4 inch in. Yep, so it'll be absolutely beautiful and totally accurate. And another glory of this is particularly with things like flying geese. So I want a run of 4. I've made the run of 4, I've made it in one go. I can do my colours, vary the colours up and down if I want to, I can do what I want. And then for my quilt, so I might have sellotaped several of these together to do a big run of flying geese. But I've got that, it's boshed off, I've cut it to size, cut it down, I know I've got my seam allowances on. And when I come to needing that in my quilt, it's absolutely perfect and good to go. So Sarah, can we have a face on now? I'll have a look at some comments. Ooh. Ooh. So right, where are we? Blimey, FPP looks complicated. I'll stick to smocking. Jill, if you can do smocking, you can do FPP. So have I given anybody any whatevers? Jessica Hom, 2 raggy gold dusts, please. Did you get her down? Brilliant, brilliant. So yeah, I hope I haven't made FPP look difficult. It's one of them things, the more you practice it, the better you get at it. I haven't touched it for the longest time, and I'm just doing it because at the start of the session today, I've even forgotten, was it you, Lynn, said that you wanted to throw it through the window. Hope I haven't confirmed that suspicion, but hopefully what I've done is given you like a little tutorial there. Rosemary, glad to see you are being generous. Saw someone cutting just big enough for the pieces the other day. You can cut just big enough for the pieces, but I'm not that good. Well, I probably am that good. It's just that I'm a little bit like, woohoo, gung-ho at the same time. Thanks, Pen. Lynn, that looks a lot easier than what I was doing. Do you know what? You can actually draft some fantastic patterns with FPP. And one way that it really excels, do you remember when you were at school and you used to draw 2 axes, and 1, 2, 3, 4 going up there and 1, 2, 3, 4 going there, and you would join line 1 and 1, 10 and 1, 9 and 2, 8 and 3, 7 and 4, and you would draw a curve in straight lines. Well, if you, and I've done it, I had to do it for my City and Guilds, we had to draft our own FPP pattern. So what we did, we got, I don't know, let's say we got the rabbit in here, and a pumpkin. We've got a pumpkin, which is rounded, yeah? And we had to make that into FPP. So some of the pieces were just a tiny little slither off the side because you were doing that thing with the straight lines. So if you really, really, really wanted to push yourself and take it that extra nth degree, FPP is going to get you that. You can piece anything. In fact, you'll see the books. Quite often you get books of farm animals and they're FPP, and they've kind of cut and sliced and the whole thing, and that's how it's done. So let's have a look. Good demo. It begins to make sense, but just beyond me. Hey, if it's beyond you and it's not something you fancy having a go at, then you've got my backing, Jill. Love these demos as look so simple for me to try. I'm a dressmaker and setting myself a new challenge this year to learn something new. Hey, Sharon. Yeah, so if you're a dressmaker, you'll kind of get the idea of when you fold something and it might not go where you wanted it to do. So patchworking, we know if we join 2 squares, we open them out and they make a rectangle. Where foundation paper piecing, if you're joining on an angle, it might go somewhere that you didn't expect. So it's quite a good little technique to have in your drawer. Anyway, so I'm just going to go over the stuff that we've got on the show tonight. Again, just one last time, because I know that people come in and out the whole way through. So we were doing the scrapbooks. I'm going to start there. I've got 3 different versions of the books. Each one has the same first 2 pages, which tells you how to kind of make new fabric out of remnants or scrap. So that's the same 2 pages in all the books, and then each of the books has got 5 patterns which you could use scrap to make. So we've got 3 cushions, and we've got 2 bags in this one. So that's the one that I did the log cabins in. And this book is Scrappy Doo. That's reduced to £14 tonight. If you were to buy those 5 patterns on my website, you'd be looking at £42.50. The same for this one, Get Thrifty, which has got the pumpkin throw, the Maria bag, the Christmas is Coming advent calendar, a textured landscape, and a heart for a snowman heart there. So that one is Get Thrifty. Again, £14 instead of £42.50 if you're buying them individually. And then Make, Do and Mend, which has got another 5 projects in. You've got a cushion, 2 bags, the little Hair of Hearts stuffed hanging heart, and you've got this fantastic, I love doing that throw with the teddy bears on. So if you want any of them, just comment with the name in the comments and we'll just pick them off. So they're £14, and first time I did it made a fancy star on a church banner. Yeah, well, foundation paper piecing is perfect for things like that. And then we've got, sorry, I'm not disregarding you, I'm just like getting through it all. We've got the Raggy Gold Dust. I'm not sure how many bags we've got. I've got a box to go through, but I think we've more than enough for what we want here. So Raggy Gold Dust, this is the stuff that I demonstrated the log cabin with. In fact, someday I'm going to top this bag up and somebody will get the log cabin in it. You'll know if it's this one. Because, well, as I say, I'll top it up. And then we also have the tartan as well. The tartan and the raggy are, I'm calling this tartan gold. The pieces are slightly different. I think they're a bit bigger in the tartan. So I will just bag that up for you as well. That's £10 a bag. Post and packing is £4, which is Royal Mail 48 tracked. 48 doesn't guarantee 48 hours in busy periods, and I know for Ireland it is definitely not 48 hours that they guarantee. So you showed a bag earlier which was made using FPP. Which pattern book was it in? I don't think it was in one of these. It was, if you want the patterns, I will knock 10% off them.
What's
there was
tartan gold? Is it? Sorry, Nicola Clegg, tartan gold 2, please.
Oh, adding to what she's already got, I think.
Is it tartan or is it gold?
Oh, Nicola, do you want 2 bags of tartan? Yeah, because it's TWO, so 2 bags of tartan gold for Nicola Clegg. Just put 2 bags of tartan. That's it.
Right, okay.
And she would also like all 3 pattern books. Thank you. Oh, we've got a little flurry going on here. And all 3 books for Nicola. Yeah. Lynn Atwell would like tartan. Poor Sarah, she's having to squeeze everything in now.
Right, Lynn Atwell, yeah.
Yeah, Scrappy Doo and tartan for Sue Fry. Just do a fresh page. See, if Donnis were here, his sawdust would be like starting to just smoke a little bit. It'd be
Scrappy, Sue Fry, and
yeah, and tartan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Janet Webb would like Scrappy Doo. So when I send you invoices, if anything's not right, if I've missed something off, please say, well, no, it's team effort. So Janet Webb, Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
And then Karen Foy, can I have an extra tartan, please? 2 in total. So she must already be on the tartan list.
Who is that, sorry?
Karen Foy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had another comment below that. Pen Hewitt would like Get Thrifty plus one raggy and 1 tartan.
So this is Pen.
She's like dissolving in a little heap here. Pen Hewitt would like. Hi, Sophie.
Tartan.
Pen would like a Get Thrifty. She would like 1 gold and 1 tartan. Just put it all in one line, and then I'll pick it out. So
I've already got her down for the tartan.
I think we've got her down for something, but just do it like that, and I can work it out. So Pen, if I've like doubled up on anything on your invoice, just let me know, and I can sort that out. So Sue Fry's back again.
An extra tartan.
An extra tartan too. Yeah.
Times 2.
Yeah. So I will. Hopefully there's enough for everyone there, but I think we're kind of getting to about the limit. Pen says plus the scrappy, so she must already be down for the scrappy on the other list. That'll be the one that you said she's already down. Pen Hewitt. So yes. Sophie, we're doing scrappy books. So make, do, amend, scrappy do, and Get Thrifty, which each have 5 projects that you could use your scrap for. So Get Thrifty has got those 5, Make, Do, Amend has got these 5, and Scrappy Do has got these. And then we are doing the bags of remnants. So we've got Raggy Gold Dust, which is a tenner a bag, and we've got the tartan version, which is also a tenner a bag. So if you want any of them, speak now or forever hold your peace. But for now, Sarah and I are off to rock in a corner. So just give Sophie a moment to respond. And in the meantime, Pops, where are you? I'm here. I'm over here. Oh, hello, Poppy. How are we doing? Oh, it's a bit dark in this corner. Oh, bless you, Poppy. Oh. So, I do apologise. I'm a bit rubbish at sending out the vouchers because it's been so busy. So we've got our top fan award for top fan. So if you're one of our top fans, your name is in here. We don't go more than a week back in the comments, but your name is in here, and you are up for getting a £10 credit to use on our website. So without further ado. So all your names are in. Oh, if you want to be in next week's, all you need to do is comment. Meta will make you one of our top fans if you comment on all our posts. You do me a favour because you're sending me up in the rankings, and I'm doing you a favour because once you're a top fan, you can go in Poppy's pot and be in with a chance of winning a £10 credit on the website. So can we have a hand? Woohoo! Don't tickle. Oh, whose name have we got here? Oh, my word. Jessica Hom. Jessica Hom, you're going to get a £10 credit to use on the website. Jessica, would you like me to just credit you for that bag of tartan there? And then it would be just postage on that. So that could be an easy thing to do. Yep. Shall we do that? Right, so Jessica Hom, we're gonna give you a free bag of tartan, and that's your £10 sorted. I'll just put a note there because I do have other £10 vouchers that I haven't sent out because I'm a bit rubbish at times. So right, okie dokie. So, bit of a marathon that one, it says.
It was.
So I'm going to love you all and leave you. Now, next Friday will be it won't be our last ever one of these, but it will be my last Friday night live before I go off to India the following day. I'm going to try and do some lives from India. Take your Joels with me because it's a bit of a sightseeing kind of thing. But it won't be at 6:30 because of the time difference. So we will meet next Friday at 6:30. Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we will have a Work It Out Wednesday, so you will be able to tell me what you want to see next Friday, and we'll take it from there. So, Janet, get yours done. Did I send you yours? I've got 3 to send. So, don't forget to use your vouchers. When I send them to you, they've all got a year on them, so you don't have to rush. But anyway, so for now, Sarah and I are off to lie in a dark